Golden Castle of Stromberg. Once per turn during your standby phase, you must banish 10 cards from the top of your deck face down. This is not optional. Or this card is destroyed. Mirror Wall. Each of your opponent's monsters that conducted an attack while this card was face up on the field have their attacks halved as long as this card remains face up on the field. During each of your standby phases, pay 2,000 life points or destroy this card. The regulation of tribe. Declare one type of monster. Monsters of the declared type cannot attack. Tribute one monster from your side of the field during each of your standby phases. If you do not, this card is destroyed.
I've made a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment.
Sometimes I actually wonder if Konami remembers how their card game works. So for those of you living under a rock, Konami's latest box, Idea of Armageddon? Kind of an odd name, but I guess I'll roll with it. Has been released into Duel Links, giving us a ton of new support for various archetypes, specifically DD. And along with the new box support, Konami also gave us a brand new DD structure and a new DD character. So as I was messing around and looking through various combinations of new supporting cards and skills, trying to make a deck list, I came across a rumour that Konami might have made a bit of a silly mistake. So they released a skill called Contract Procrastination that simply reads, if you control a dark contract card, you may skip your standby phase. Now at first this sounds pretty harmless, as obviously it's designed to simply skip the life point burn that comes with running dark contract cards. But then you realise, this skill is literally skipping a phase. An entire phase. Permanently. Damn. I really hope there aren't a bunch of cards in the game that just have some kind of important interaction during that phase. But before I go any further, I just want to say that no, I don't think the skill, at least at the moment, is that broken, and it's probably not meta relevant in the slightest. But I feel like this falls into the category of quite unhealthy, and definitely very unintentional. Skipping the standby phase for an infinite Golden Castle of Stromberg is clearly not what this skill was designed to do, so I wouldn't be surprised if Konami takes a look at this skill down the line and makes some pretty major adjustments to it, as it may not be all that harmful at the moment, but I'm sure there'll come a point where skipping the standby phase causes something very problematic. Anyway, that's enough of abusing stuff. Here's the deck list. Now just before I go through the list, just a reminder that if you're enjoying any of the content you're watching or find any of it useful, to please leave a like on the video down below and consider subscribing to the channel whilst you're down there. I'm literally 130 subs away from 50,000, so I'd really hope this video will get me there. Come on guys, do me a solid. Alright, so there are probably quite a few familiar faces in this deck list that you probably recognise, as although DD received quite a bit of new pendulum support, the deck still remains primarily fusion based, so all the standard fusion stuff from the previous DD lists remain the same. But this deck list does run 3 brand new cards. DD Chaos King Apocalypse. Pendulum Effect. You can banish 2 DD monsters from your graveyard to special summon this card. Monster Effect. During your opponent's turn, if this card is in your hand or in your graveyard, you may target 2 face-up spell or trap cards you control, destroy them, and special summon this monster. DD Orthros. Pendulum Effect. Once per turn you can target 1 spell or trap card on the field and 1 other DD or dark contract card you control, destroy them. Monster Effect. When you take damage you can special summon this card from your hand. And finally, DD Savant Kepler. Pendulum Effect. Honestly, doesn't really matter all that much as your skill basically negates it anyway, and you don't really do much pendulum summoning anyway. Monster Effect. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can activate one of these effects. Add 1 dark contract card from your deck to your hand. Or, target 1 other DD card you control, return it to hand. Now with this deck list I managed to go 9 wins and 1 loss, and honestly, Stromberg seemed to carry it quite hard. But sadly for DD fans, I personally don't think, at least not my variant, this deck will be considered a top tier contender. There are plenty of ways to build DD at the moment, so I certainly wouldn't be surprised if one of them does end up being top tier, but at least my list feels like it would struggle at the highest level, as although we're given new support, none of it really solved the issues that DD currently had. DD was basically a really strong deck, but would only really win consistently going second, and after the new support, this deck still feels like it doesn't really have a game plan going first. The fact that I'm currently running Stromberg to defend myself should probably be an indicator that this deck is definitely still missing something. But in saying that, DD is definitely stronger than it was before, and it was already a King of Games level deck, so I'm sure you'll have a great time playing this archetype on ladder. Alright guys, that'll be it for the decklist part of the video. The rest of the video will be gameplay showcasing the list in action. I apologise, but there won't be any commentary over the gameplay today, as I simply just don't have the time to record it. It's currently my mother's birthday, and I'm already behind on making new box videos, so hopefully you can forgive me. Remember, if you're enjoying any of this video or find any of the content useful, to please drop a like on the video down below, and consider subscribing to the channel whilst you're down there. Enjoy the gameplay!
Duel. 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 Duel.
Hey, big brother, can I watch SpongeBob?
Shut up, Mokuba. I'm busy flagging YouTube videos to compensate for the fact that I have an extremely small penis.
Oh.